Hello, welcome to Mama Sue's Kitchen. I hope you're having a great day. I wanted to share a recipe that a good friend of mine had given me. And if you like Mexican food, you're going to love this. It's kind of funny because I did a casserole about a week ago. And I can't read all the comments because there's too many. But I happened to see one that someone said, well, you're not cooking, you're making casseroles. Well, I thought casseroles were part of cooking. But anyway, if you don't like casseroles, you don't have to watch this. But I tried to speed it up a little bit. This is a Mexican beef casserole. And if you, like I say, if you don't like Mexican food, you might not want to watch this, but it's not that spicy. You can add things that do make it spicy. But it calls for a pound of lean ground beef and a medium onion chopped. And then you brown that together, and that's what I have done. So I wanted to do that ahead of time so we could save you some time. But to this, let me tell you what I'm going to add. I'm going to turn the camera a little bit. I'm going to add 1 can of black beans, and I rinse these and drain them. I drained them in a colander and rinsed them real good, and then I put them back in here. So I'm adding that. I'm adding 1 can of whole kernel corn, and I drained it. And then I'm adding 2 cans of Rotel. Now, I know many of you have said you don't know what Rotel because you can't get it where you live. Rotel is just diced tomatoes with green chilies. And I have the Rotel brand, and you drain those. And I have the Walmart brand because I only had 1 can of Rotel. And then the last thing I'm going to do with this is add 1 package of taco seasoning. Okay, now I'm just going to stir this up really good. You don't add the water like you would normally add if you were just doing tacos. You know, if you just had the ground beef and you added your seasoning, and it would tell you to put a little water and simmer. Well, you're just mixing the taco seasoning in with this. And I'm going to heat it up, let it heat thoroughly. Like I say, the beans and the corn and the tomatoes and green chilies are all drained. And this recipe, like all of them, if you leave Facebook or YouTube and you go to MamaSue'sSouthernKitchen.com, I'll have this recipe, and it even gives you the opportunity to print it off if you have a computer and a printer that you can do that. But anyway, I'm just going to let that heat. And while I'm heating, I want to thank one of my followers sent me these nice pot holders, and they say Mama Sue's Southern Kitchen. And y'all, I'm so thankful for everything that people have sent me. I've had the most beautiful crocheted Christmas decorations. I've had cookbooks. I got a beautiful crocheted, out of that real tiny thread, the crocheted bookmark that's in the shape of a cross. I can't even tell you all the things that I have had. But anyway, I'm going to get a casserole dish, a 9 by 13. While that's finishing heating, and I'm just going to spray it a little bit. Okay, I think you can see me. All right, and to that, you're going to take corn tortillas. And the recipe calls for 8 to 10. Now, I'm going to show you what my dish does. When I get them in there, I'm going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I halved one because that's all it's going to take right here. All right. Now, that is good and hot. You can see. And then I'm going to take half of this, just half, and I'm going to spread it. I'll show you up closer in just a minute. Just going to spread it over these corn tortillas. Y'all, still shipping cookbooks every day. If you, I'm getting messages, how can I order your cookbook? If you'll go to my web page, it gives you the information on the different ways to order. Now, I am going to tell you that I have not finished volume 2 yet to send to the publisher. I'm still hoping that it will be there in August, and maybe by the end of August we'll be ready. But I do not, see, that was half of that. I do not want you to send me any money yet because I don't know how much it's going to be until we determine how thick it is, how many recipes, and how much it's going to cost. So I'm going to order plenty when I do, and they'll be available when I know. All right, now you take 3/4 cup of sour cream, and you're just going to spread this on top, you know, the best you can. And you know, there may be a few little spots that has a little bit more than others, but all right. Now, I want you to see that's what the first layer looks like. Now we're going to repeat. I'm going to put more corn tortillas. Thought I had there's my knife right there, so just let me. Okay, cut that in half. Okay, and then, see, then I'm going to add the other half of this. I won't put the sour cream on top of this. It only went on the bottom layer. Okay, I have preheated my oven excuse me, to 350 degrees. Cover that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on for 25 minutes. You see? Okay. Set my timer for 25 minutes. And then I'll be back and show you what I'm going to do next. Okay, I just took this out of the oven. I left it really 30 minutes instead of 25. And the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to take some Mexican cheese, Mexican style cheese, which is just a blend of cheeses already. And it says to do about 1/3 of a cup, but what I'm going to do is just sprinkle it all along the top. You know, you can't put too much cheese, really. All right. Now, that's covered pretty good. And what I'm going to do now is I took 1 jalapeno pepper and I took the veins and the seed out because Harold doesn't like anything that's too hot. And I'm just going to sprinkle that along the top. You know, I'm not going to cover every little piece because if truth be known, he's going to pick these off. But I don't think they're going to be hot because I did be careful to take the seed and those membranes out. Okay. See? Now I'm going to put it right back in my oven for 5 minutes until this cheese has melted. And then I'll be back. Okay, this stayed in my oven for 5 minutes and the cheese has melted and it smells so good. Now the recipe says you have to let it sit for at least 5 minutes before you cut it. So I'm not going to cut it until it has set. Now, but if you will go to my website, MamaSueSouthernKitchen.com, you will see it cut. And that way you'll have the recipe and you'll see what it looks like at the same time. Y'all, I just want to remind you that we all go through tough times. No one is exempt from having trouble. Our preacher spoke Sunday about, you know, Satan wants to steal our joy. And he wants us to keep us from praising Jesus. And when we get a bad news or a bad report, we should go ahead and say, thank you, Jesus, because I know that you're in charge and nothing surprises you and I trust you through it all. I hope that's for somebody. Y'all, I want to remind you just what my necklace says. Be salt and light. Read Matthew 5:13 through 16 and you'll see that Jesus wants us to be salt and light. I hope you have a great day and I'll be back soon.